Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching In Depth
on Now You Know. A question we've been getting a lot is, why are you making all of these different videos that don't have anything to do with Tesla?
Right. I think that a lot of people want a channel that has a very concise subject, like we make Tesla videos. We do make Tesla videos. We love Tesla. But we don't just love them because they go fast.
And we don't love them because they're cool looking.
Right.
We love more than just the cars themselves. We love what they stand for because we love the company that creates them and the man who created the company. And there's a reason why we like the guy who made the company. We like Elon Musk for some very important reasons.
Yeah, he doesn't set out to make more money for his shareholders. He sets out to make a sustainable planet.
So when we're big fans of Tesla and people are like, you guys are just big Tesla fanboys.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. But it's because we care about more than just the car or the company. We care about the earth and humans who live on the earth. And so it's hard to hear when people are like, I don't understand why you're making a vegan show. I don't like vegan stuff. I just like cars. We get it. You like the Tesla car, and it might be confusing as to why guys who are making stuff about cars are also making vegan stuff.
What does fast cars and rockets and vegan stuff have to do with one another? Well, they have a lot to do with one another, actually, because they're trying to make a sustainable planet, and actually going vegan is one of the ways that you can be the most sustainable.
I think there's a reason why. Why do we care about being sustainable? Why should anyone care about being sustainable?
Well, let me answer this. I mean, this week there's a bunch of stories that we would have put into Tesla Time News. The first one here is showing the Arctic ice cap. This is a time lapse from 1992 to 2016, and as you're watching it here, if you watch very closely, you'll see that the ice is spinning, and the very white ice is the old ice, which is good to have.
It's thicker ice.
Right, and the grayer ice is very new ice. And so as you're watching this kind of swirl along, if you watch closely, you'll see that it's getting less and less. Now, obviously it's getting bigger and smaller in pulses because it's winter to summer, but over the years, it's getting less and less, and all that ice is going out into the North Atlantic, which is very important to making our climate system work.
Right.
But now, look at this side-by-side picture of 1992 to 2016. Pretty obvious what you're seeing here. There's a whole lot less ice up there.
Right.
Now, in Europe, if you're in Europe right now, you're getting this polar Arctic winter. There's places where it's snowing that it never snows. There's temperatures that are ridiculously cold.
Right. I mean, look at Venice here. I mean, do you ever see pictures of snow in Venice?
And it's not just an inconvenience. This means that there's going to be changes to our agriculture, to species, plant species, animal species, in ways that we don't even understand. Right. And the scariest part to me is that this time lapse did not happen over 1 million years or even 10,000 years. It happened over the life of Jesse's lifetime. And so that brings up the question to me, like, what's going to happen in Jesse's next 20 years?
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
This is really scary stuff. It's never happened this fast on Earth before.
And so in that, we're talking about changes to our entire planet, which is scary. But there are also changes that are happening to the people who inhabit the planet. So a new report from UNICEF shows a correlation between air pollution and early brain development. So the most crucial stage of the brain's growth comes during the first 1,000 days of a child's life, or let's be real, of a person's life.
Right.
So air pollution has been found to damage the blood-brain barrier, which can lead to things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease later in life. So these are things that we just normally don't think about. You don't consider children and old people to be the same thing, even though they will be over the course of their life.
Right.
And that when you were a kid, maybe you were exposed to a lot of air pollution. So that means that now, when you're growing older, you're going to have to worry about Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. That's something that we just didn't know before.
Right.
And so that means that we need to create change about that, because that means that we can no longer have, polluting vehicles. Getting back to the point about veganism, let's say, for example, you can't afford an electric car. That's fine. That's normal. Okay? Like, we rail on internal combustion engine cars on this show all the time. But I want you to know that, like, if you can't afford an electric car, that's most people. Like,
or if an electric car doesn't work for you right now,
right?
Because
Like if
there's
you're
not
like
an infrastructure, or it doesn't, doesn't seat enough people, whatever. Like,
right.
we're not mad at you.
Right. We're not mad at you at all. We're mad at this system that you have been placed in. It's from governments and corporations and all of this working to create profit, which has completely forgotten humans' health, well-being, the health of the planet, which means the health of humanity itself. All of these things have been forgotten.
Right.
And
They've put you into a system that by its very nature is destructive.
right. So you are, just expected to get a car when you're 16, and it's probably going to run on gasoline. You are expected to eat meat because they tell you that it's healthy for you and that everyone eats meat and that you were evolved to eat meat.
And it's been subsidized, so it's very cheap.
Right, and you've been told you should drink milk. Of course you should drink milk. You're a human. You should drink cow milk.
Right.
What?
Right. Well, and I'd like to give you this thought experiment for a
Right.
second, Jesse. How many of your ideas did you come up with yourself? And how many of your ideas did you get from someone else?
Human existence is practically always just stealing people's ideas, or just being told to you in schools and on television and in books, in textbooks.
And the thing is, when you come up with an idea yourself, you usually come up with it because you tested it. For instance, if you're in the kitchen and you're doing some cooking, you learn that, if I turn this on too hot, it burns it. And you learn that yourself. That's science.
Right.
But when you're told something, you just take it to be the truth.
Right.
Even though you've never tested it yourself.
Right.
That's where we're at today. We've been told a lot of things that we take to be truths, and in fact, they're not.
Right. And we've gotten so much to the point where there is a divergence in what is true, the science, and what people believe to be true, so much so that we have a government that can't create positive change when it comes to climate. They're literally trying to obfuscate science. I have friends who work in government who are like, yeah, we're backing up all of our files because we know that it's going to get deleted. Like stuff about climate change. And they're like, yeah, we know it'll just someday disappear. And so we need to back that stuff up. That's terrifying, and that needs to change. And that is why we have this YouTube channel, because we're fighting against madness.
Yeah.
It's just madness that we would have a system where you are going to pollute the earth to beyond where anyone can practically live on it.
All because your quarterly, shareholder return has to be maximized.
Right. It's insane. We need to look farther into the future. We need to make sacrifices, because otherwise there will be no future for you, for me, for your children or your grandchildren. It's going to be horrific.
A big reason why we have this channel is we want to create a community, which we already have. It's an amazing community. We want to grow that community, and we want you to know that you have power. You have a lot more power than you think you have.
Right.
But again, you haven't been told that. You haven't been taught that. You've been taught to stay relatively quiet. Do your job, keep your head down. That's a good boy.
If you get loud and you realize that you have a voice, I mean, everyone does. We just made a YouTube channel one day, and we started reporting on things that we thought were interesting. We reported on things that we thought to be correct. We gave our opinions, and you all decided to watch us, and that was amazing. And if that taught us anything, it is that you have that voice. You have that exact same voice that we have, and you can create so much change. You can sign petitions. You can contact your representatives. You can run for office yourself. Heck, be a representative yourself. Run on the future of grandchildren and children alike.
What's the worst thing can happen?
You'll
lose.
Yeah, create a group. Join a group. Meet, talk, spread the word. Let people know what is going on this planet and what you can do to fix it.
And what's important to you.
I want to talk about veganism for a minute, because I think that it gets this weird, bad rap. And again, it goes back to what you were told, which is that vegans are weird, and that they're always going to have weird piercings in their nose, and that they're going to have tattoos and purple hair, and that they're going to be unhealthy and sick. And I'm telling you that is not the case. And here are some actual facts. One hamburger uses 3,000 liters of water. That's like if you showered for 2 months. One hamburger. The meat and dairy industry uses about 1/3 of Earth's fresh water. 1/3. There are places on this planet now where they are running out of fresh water. They simply do not have enough to go around. In Cape Town, South Africa, they are approaching their day zero. The day where the taps will run dry and no one will have water.
That's right. Global greenhouse gas emissions. 51% is due to livestock and their byproducts. Now, compare that to transportation, which we rail against all the time, right? We are always against ICE cars. Well, only 13% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from the transportation sector.
Right. If you switch to a plant-based diet, it cuts your carbon footprint by 50%. Okay, so if you want to make a change and you're like, I can't afford an electric car because I'm a normal person, I mean, you can make a 50% difference just by switching what you eat.
Yeah. Livestock is responsible for 65% of the nitrous oxide emissions. Now, nitrous oxide is 296 times more destructive than CO2.
It's what we're talking about in the Dieselgate scandal and stuff like that. Again, it's a huge thing. Nobody talks about it. I mean, and if people talk about it, they're talking about, you should switch to electric cars, we should switch to green energy. All of that is super good. But again, if you don't also bring in the vegan aspect to it, then you're not really making a full, complete argument. I mean, you can be as green as you want. You can drive an electric car. Heck, you could ride a bike. You could have solar panels on your roof and a Tesla battery pack, and you could be completely off-grid if you wanted to, but if you're still eating meat, you're still a huge contributor to global warming.
So, I mean, what we're doing with the Vegan Cooking Show is just showing you that it's possible.
Right.
All of us on this channel, we're not born that way. We were not born vegans.
No.
Okay? We actually learned about it at some point in our lives and tried it, and it's been working for us. So we're just sharing that knowledge that you can go cook a meal, it's not that expensive, it's not that hard, tastes delicious, and if you do that once, you can do it again.
Right. And you don't have to switch 100%. I understand that it's a huge change to your
everyone
life.
can change depending on what fits their world.
Right. Start with a meatless Monday, then have tofu taco Tuesday, and then you have...
What do you have on Wacky Wednesday?
You have water chestnut Wednesday. No, I mean, you can make small changes here and there in your life that are going to slowly add up to a really big change.
And I want to get back to this sense of empowerment. We've been hearing about the VW Dieselgate scandal. And I think everyone thought, especially people in Germany, that VW would never be taken down. There was no way. They were just too big to fail. But the U.S. said, hey, no.
Yeah.
Can't do that here.
Screw you, VW.
Right.
How dare you, deceive us and lie to us, and we're going to take you to court. You're going to have to do all of this stuff. You're going to pay this much money, and now they're getting sued up the wazoo.
But what was surprising to me is that when I learned about this, I thought, well, it's all done. We've taken care of VW.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that in Europe, you guys have not. You basically let them off the hook. Your laws allow for the cars to basically stay the way they are.
Right.
And now what was exciting to hear is that last week, Germany's highest administrative court in Leipzig ruled in favor of upholding the bans that were introduced by the lower courts in the cities of Stuttgart and Dusseldorf, which are two of the most polluted German cities. These are bans on the diesel cars in Germany. So this means that now cities in Germany, if they want to, can ban diesel cars. Now, you might be saying, well, that's never going to happen because VW and BMW, these are all powerful companies in Germany, can't happen. Well, the courts just ruled it can happen. Now what you need to do, if you live in Germany, for instance, is you need to get on the phone and on email with your representatives and say, I want it to happen in my town or city.
Right. And you can absolutely do this no matter where you live. It's horrific once you start to actually learn how awful it is. How
many premature deaths, thousands of premature deaths every year because of diesel cars.
Right, and it's not as visual as a car accident or a murderer. It's more insidious than that. It's something that you don't see. It's something that you can't really smell.
That's right.
Or taste. Sometimes you can smell and taste it. It's this invisible kind of killer, and it doesn't necessarily kill. It can just maim you, can just give you Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. I mean, it's awful. Have you ever met someone, or you are experiencing it yourself, someone who has a parent who is going through that, who is forgetting who their children are, who their grandchildren are? It's awful. Could it have been prevented if diesel emissions had been panned out, but when they were children? It really makes you think, doesn't it?
We're hearing about another story in Rome. So we've heard some good news, right? In 2024, they will ban diesel cars altogether in the inner parts of Rome. But then when you read a little deeper, you realize they didn't even do it for the right reasons.
Right.
They're banning the cars to save the old monuments, which are great. We want to save the old monuments, but how about the people?
Right. So basically the emissions are actually eating away at the stone carvings and the Colosseum and stuff like that. causing acid rain, and so they want to ban diesel emissions in those areas to hopefully prevent the degradation of these statues. But I mean, if it's bad enough to hurt stone, what do you think it's going to do to your lungs?
Exactly.
What do you think it's going to do to the blood-brain barrier in your brain? You know, what is it going to do to you if you are just being exposed to it constantly?
Right, so if you're a citizen of Rome, contact your mayor, Virginia Raggi, and tell her you did a great job, but let's expand that ban from just the historical center of Rome out to where all the people live in Rome.
Right.
Because they're the ones that we need to protect more than just these old monuments.
Right.
Why do we do what we do? This is why we do what we do. Because doesn't seem to be enough people out there and enough media outlets that are telling you this stuff. They're more focused on what's the new iPhone look like and how fast does that car go, when they should be focusing on why do we need to change our economy to a sustainable one.
Right. We started this channel, we started talking about Tesla news because Tesla news was not talked about in the press. You couldn't go on and hear about any kind of Tesla news until, you know, some kind of catastrophe happened and someone got hurt in a car. You know, but they don't talk about, Dieselgate until it is brought up and dissected and people actually start to figure out what the heck that actually means. And then, Dirty Money on Netflix covers it. And that has created such amazing change.
Yes.
I mean, we want to bring that change through you to the world. We are just always researching and understanding what is happening in the world, and we want to bring it to you so that way you can take it and run with it and create change. We hope that you enjoy watching us. I know that it isn't always fun when you hear about all the doom and gloom in the world, but there is a lot to be hopeful for. There is a lot to be excited about.
And it feels really good when you join a group of people that are working towards something, because you are part of a change that is coming. You're part of this new wave of difference that's happening in this world. So I urge you, if you're watching this video now, write a letter to your representative. Find some group that you've been thinking of joining and join it. It takes a little bit of work, but you get more than when you put in.
Right. And it's not about sharing things on Facebook, okay? Sharing things on Facebook does not do a lick of difference. I'm sorry. Like, you can share all the little articles you want on Facebook. Nobody cares. Nobody will read it. Unless it's got an interesting title and picture, they won't even click on it. And once they click on it, they're not going to read through it. Let's be real here. They just want to see pictures of dogs and what does it mean if you're an Aquarius this month.
Right.
And, Facebook is not the place, okay? It is face-to-face conversations, it is direct messages to people, it is emails, it is letters, it is phone calls to your representative. I mean, there is no other way to talk about this, really. You have the power to create change in this world, and we want you to know that, and we want to help you. So, thank you so much for supporting this channel. Everyone who's subscribed, and especially to our Patreon supporters, we couldn't do this without you, and we just really, really appreciate it. And we're trying to bring the change that, Elon Musk is bringing to the world. We're trying to bring it to the spotlight so you can see what it means to make a real difference. So,
Yeah.
now you know.